Here's best-selling Christian author and teacher Eddie Smith with another spiritual warfare moment.
Hi there, Eddie Smith with another spiritual warfare moment. Question, do you remember when Jesus called Simon Peter to be his disciple and said to him, I will make you a fisher of men? Did you realize that Satan is also a fisher of men? He roams to and fro in the earth, seeking whom he may devour, but we need to understand how he devours men. You know, you don't eat a fish until you've caught it. How does he catch us? He uses a lure, typically. He throws that lure out, and it's usually something that looks delicious to us, and as we go for it, that lure has hooks in it, and his hook is embedded in us, and we are dragged into things. We have to willingly go for the lure, you understand. We can't say, as the comedian did back in the 60s, the devil made me do it, because that is impossible for a believer. A believer has freedom from the power of the enemy. We make our own choices, and we suffer the results, and sometimes of them. So Satan takes these lures and casts them out. I had heard about a pastor that had fallen into sin, had dropped out of the ministry, and someone said to me, Eddie, were you surprised when you heard that happened? And I said, no. What surprises me is that you and I haven't dropped out of the ministry. You see, there have been many times that I would have been tempted to drop out. Certainly many times the lure has been thrown my way. But by God's grace and the supernatural power that he provides for me, I have not taken the lure and can still stand. So no, what he did was natural. What you and I are doing, as I said to the pastor, is supernatural. It's by God's grace. So Satan has a lure. He also has a net. You know, one of the problems that people get into is running with the wrong people. It's like a dragnet. I remember my father taking us up the coast of Mexico one time back when I was in high school, and we saw some men with a large dragnet out on the beach, and we went over and watched them. And when they pulled that dragnet in, they had every manner of creature. They had stuff in there that I've never even imagined existed. But it was a dragnet. Whatever was there was caught. And in many cases, Satan doesn't use a lure. He uses a net. You know, birds of a feather flock together. And so he throws that net out, and whoever is in the way gets caught. Be careful of the company you keep, because it testifies to who you are. And then when the lure and the net don't work, Satan uses something else. In fact, you may have heard about the man that was out fishing, and he came in with these big catches of fish, and somebody was so concerned about it, they alerted the wildlife people, and sure enough, one of the wildlife agents came over with the Fish and Game Department, and he said, I want to go fishing with you today and see how you do this. And he said, all right. And so they went out in the boat, and they came to the fishing spot, and he dropped the anchor, and the man reached over into his toolbox, and he pulled out a stick of dynamite, and he lit it, and threw it to the game warden. The game warden said, you can't use dynamite to catch fish. And looked down, and his hand was the dynamite with the fuse lit, and the fisherman said, are you going to fish or are you going to argue? You see, sometimes Satan uses dynamite. He uses things in our life, catastrophes and situations that he hopes will take us down. But we're told in Ephesians 6 that we can stand if we pray. And so I hope today you're not falling for Satan's lure. I hope you're not being caught in his dragnet. And I hope when he does opt for dynamite, that it won't catch you off guard and unprepared. That having done all, you will stand. I'll see you later.
Order your copy of Eddie's Making Sense of Spiritual Warfare today at www.prayerbookstore.com.